is going to happen. So number one, Trevor Lawrence, Jags, we all agree. So let's not waste any time on that. Number two, Zach Wilson, Jets. He's got a high ceiling. I think it could go south very quickly, but whatevs. Number three, I believe the Niners have already made decisions on Mac Jones. What they're doing now is protecting their butt. They're telling you they don't know. They like everybody else. So if everybody else succeeds and Mac fails, they can go back and go, well, we liked them. And I also think the Garoppolo trade is to protect their butt. If they get rid of him, then they can argue we had to get a quarterback ready to play now. I think they've decided on Mac Jones. Number four, this is the move I would make, and it's the move I think Atlanta will make, Kyle Pitts. I don't think they need to get rid of Matt Ryan. Listen, he's a top 12 quarterback, former MVP, got to a Super Bowl a couple years ago. I don't think he's that much worse than 2 years ago. And they have a young O-line and young receivers. They grow together. You add Kyle Pitts. It's a little bit like the Cowboys. If they get Kyle Pitts, they look a lot like Dallas. Good luck stopping them, but they don't tackle well. So I think they go Kyle Pitts. He and Trevor Lawrence are the real locks in this draft in terms of generational talent. Number five, Bengals. Okay, let's be honest. Their offensive line's not a disaster. They have a really good center and a good left tackle, and those are the two most valuable offensive line positions, tackle and center. They went out and paid for a right tackle. Not great, but they paid for it. I believe they think they can upgrade their offensive line later, and I think they can. I don't think they can get a receiver like Jamar Chase later. So I think they take Jamar Chase, the LSU wide receiver. I think they believe, and I think they're right, he really is, last 2 years, he is different than everybody. He is physically different. He's a pro playing college. They could go offensive line, but let's not make it out to their offensive line's a wreck. It needs to be upgraded. But if you got a center you like they do and a left tackle, it's not a wreck. It's not like the Jets the last 3 years. So then the Dolphins. Now I would go offensive line, but I wouldn't go left tackle. I'd go Slater, even though Penei Sewell grades higher. Why? Because they have Austin Jackson at left tackle, and they like him. They went and got him last year. He's a good kid and a good player. But here's the thing. I know they went and got Will Fuller, and they have Devontae Parker, but the betting markets are saying they're taking Waddle. The betting markets are saying Waddle's going over Devontae Smith. And remember, they were only 23rd in the NFL last year in yards after the catch. So even though you went and got Will Fuller, he's not a guy that's going to give you 16, 17 games a year. He gets hurt a lot. So Jalen Waddle, again, is a guy. Now you've got a tight end you like. You got Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, a star, and then I think they believe, too, they can get offensive line help later. And I don't think Miami's offensive line, again, I don't think it's a disaster. So now we've got really good offensive linemen on the market, and Detroit drafting 7. Okay. The Lions have allowed 40-plus sacks in 4 straight years. And that's with Matt Stafford, who's more mobile than Jared Goff. I think they get Penei Sewell. I think you have to go offensive line here. Now, do I think they would trade down a little bit? Yes. But they're a weird franchise. You went and got Goff. We know the thing with Goff. Once he got Andrew Whitworth with the Rams at left tackle, he was a much better quarterback. I don't think Dan Campbell's a great coach, but I think he likes size. He's impressed with that stuff. And Penei Sewell walks in the room, and he's a man. He's a 21-year-old man or a 20-year-old man. Now, number 8. I've been saying this. I think New England moves up. I think New England watches this draft all night, and there's a chance they won't move up. But I think if it's 8 and it's Carolina's got Darnold. They don't need a quarterback. I'm not saying they wouldn't take one, but they don't need one. What they need is picks and rebuilding, and I think Carolina trades down, gets more picks. New England moves in and takes Justin Fields. Now, they could take Trey Lance, but the stories this morning that are coming out is they lean Fields over Trey Lance. So I think New England gets their quarterback, plays under Cam for a year. Remember, New England doesn't have a ton of holes. Good O-line, solid backs, upgraded tight end wide receiver. Their defensive personnel is fine. I do think they love pass rushers, and I think they love corners. But I don't think they think if they stay at 15, they're going to get J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. So I think they move up, get a quarterback, plays and it tells you that Belichick's not going to retire anytime soon. Number 9, Broncos. I think they draft Trey Lance. I think it's a great fit. Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock in a division with Herbert, Derek Carr, and Mahomes. That's the 4th best quarterback. So Trey Lance, no rush to play. You play Bridgewater, Drew Lock this year. You sit him for a year. I know a little about Trey Lance. I've met him. When I suggested Denver, he smiled. He liked that. So I think Denver. Okay, now you go Cowboys 10, Giants 11, Eagles 12. Here's my guess. I've been told now by 2 GMs, I was told by a general manager last night, it is a 2-corner draft. Patrick Surtain and Horn. Not that there aren't good corners after that, but they've either got an injury issue or they've got a length issue. These are the 2 stars. I think the Cowboys could take the Bama corner, wouldn't be surprised, but Dallas has a history of flashy, and J.C. Horn is flashier. He's moving up the draft. His dad played in the NFL forever. It would be a big hire. It'd get big. Oh, my God, they took over. And I think they take J.C. Horn, who, by the way, grades really high according to my guys. Giants go 11. Again, Joe Judge is the coach. So Brian Flores, what was the first big money he spent in free agency? A corner. Why? If you coach under Belichick, you know the value of corners. Joe Judge coached under Belichick. They've already solved their offensive weapon issue. They got Galladay and Sterling Sharp and Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley. Their offensive line's not a wreck. It's not a wreck. Don't listen to anybody. It's not a wreck. They've gone after that O-line last 2 years. I think they go get Patrick Surtain from Alabama at corner. And then I think the Eagles want a corner. But they shouldn't be moving up in a draft. They shouldn't be giving away draft capital. They've not drafted particularly well last 3 or 4 years. I think they get Devontae Smith. So they give their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, another weapon. And the 12 spot feels about right for Devontae Smith. I think he's a little overvalued, but I do think he'll succeed. Some weight concerns. So this is my guess. Again, I don't know. I looked a lot at Fox Bet this morning. I looked at betting markets. That's kind of my guess, and I think I got the first 3 down. I got the first 4 down. I feel, you know what? No, I got the first 5 down. After that, I could whiff on all of them. And now we bring in a former NFL scout for a bunch of different teams, works at the NFL Network, highly respected Daniel Jeremiah. Okay, I don't know.